Alright, so the main claim that I'm refuting today is that technology has a negative effect on our society's interactive behavior. The three secondary claims that I'll be tackling are first, that personal communication technology tends to distract humans from their objectives. Second, that personal communication technology can disrupt educational activities. And third, that technology separates us from human nature. So my first response will be to the secondary claim that personal communication technology tends to distract humans from their objective. Alright, first, the secondary claim does not support the main claim. Arguing that being on a laptop or checking email distracts from daily chores is irrelevant to society's interactive behavior, since typically we don't hang out with friends when we do our chores, so that makes it irrelevant to that. Second, a quote was used in this argument saying that a study finds that accidents involving pedestrians wearing the devices have tripled in recent years. While there has been an impact, however, this is a hasty generalization because the actual numbers, the amounts that these have tripled, are very small. So later on in that article it said that over the years the number of cases increased from 16 in 2004 and 2005 to 47 in 2010 and 2011. So while there has been an impact, it was a relatively small number looking at the sheer number of car accidents. And third, from that same point, a quote was used that said, an estimated 16,000 people in the U.S. have died in accidents caused by drivers sending text messages while driving between 2001 and 2007, according to federal data. So this statistic is really strong, but it's slightly outdated since it's from 2007. Right after this point was made, the speaker did mention that there had been laws passed that prevented text messaging while driving, which just leaving it at that would refute her own claim. However, using this study from the Highway Loss Data Institute could have strengthened the argument immensely, which showed that such bans on text messaging are associated with a slight increase in the frequency of insurance claims filed under collision coverage for damage to vehicle and crashes, showing that implementing these laws has in fact caused more accidents related to text messaging. So the second secondary claim that I'll be responding to is that personal communication technology can disrupt educational activities. First, again, this one doesn't really support the main claim, partly because cheating isn't, again, relevant to society's interactive behavior. It's more of a personal, educational thing. And relying on technology such as calculators and GPS devices is also slightly irrelevant to interactive behavior. And lastly, or secondly with this point, this brought up the fallacy of equivocation. In the beginning, technology was defined as personal devices such as cell phones, computers, and MP3 players, but calculators and GPSs don't fit under personal communication technology. Second, it was argued that calculators are causing people to lose their ability to do math. Or actually, there was a compilation of research done by Heidi Pomeranz from Rice University that argued against calculators as approach, showing them instead as tools that not only promote comprehension, but allow for more math skills to be taught. And she said that by reducing the time that in the past was spent on learning and performing tedious paper and pencil arithmetic and algebraic algorithms, calculator use today allows students and teachers to spend more time developing mathematical understanding, reasoning, number sense, and applications. Four-function, scientific, and graphic calculators, as well as calculators with computer symbolic algebra manipulation capability, provide new pedagogical enhancement opportunities. So they allow for classes to be more complex and spend more time on learning more math theories instead of just focusing the same ones on paper. So my third response is to the secondary claim that technology separates us from human nature. First with this, the use of the term human nature has the fallacy of ambiguity. So you're not really sure what human nature means. So if it was defined, it could have helped strengthen it. Second, the claim was made that technology keeps humans from face-to-face contact with other humans. So while this may be true, this overlooks the benefits of technology in keeping people together. So for example, if you look at Skype, which had over 663 million users as of September 2011, or Facebook, which had 845 million active users with an average of 483 million daily active users, and 425 million monthly active mobile users at the end of 2011 as well, you can see that these technologies offer things such as video chat, instant messaging, picture sharing. So this makes it easier to keep in contact not only with people you live nearby, but people far around the world, making contact more frequent. Third, she used a quote that said, "At the extreme, we behave like machines. Technology makes us greedy, unhappy, impatient, insensitive, and full of hubris." Now this quote actually comes from Kevin Kelly, the senior maverick of Wired magazine, which is a magazine all about technology. So if it had put in who the author was of this quote, it could have actually been used as reluctant testimony. However, looking at the source that it came from, it was actually from an article where Kelly was just listing some of the common oppositions. And in the beginning, he said that I believe we have a moral obligation to increase the power and presence of technology in the world. which refutes the claim. And last for that claim, she made an argument that people weren't going to libraries anymore and said that people just accept that the decline of library attendance is rising. But actually, according to a survey on public library attendance across the country done by the American Library Association in October 2011, they said that in the fiscal year of 2009, public libraries had 1.59 billion visits, an increase of 5.7% from 1.5 billion in the previous year. Library visitation per capita has increased over the past 10 years. On average, individuals within a library service area visited the public library over 5 times, an increase of 5% from the fiscal year 2008, and a 10-year increase of almost 25% since 2006. So in conclusion, due to a lack of support for some points and some weak evidence, the claim of the fact that technology has a negative effect on our society's interactive behavior was not argued sufficiently.
All right, there are a lot of things that are really nice about the speech. I like the way that you talk to the audience while you're giving your arguments, and you do a nice job kind of summarizing ideas and concepts. Everything's well organized, and it's easy to follow there, so you're doing a good job on that. Your explanation about relevance on the first point was relatively clear. On the second point, when you're making an argument about relevance, I didn't think it was quite as clear. That didn't quite figure out. Now, when you made the argument about equivocation on the two types of technologies, that I thought was a lot clearer than your argument about relevance on the second point. And I thought you had a good piece of evidence on that particular point. There are 2 or 3 places in the argument where it sounds like instead of making a refutation, you're offering a critique of the advocate's claim, and here's a suggestion about how they could have made a stronger argument. That's not what you want to do. The second time, actually it may have been the third time you did it, you did finally kind of shift and make a counterclaim on it. You were talking about how they could have used this as an example of reluctant testimony. But your real argument there is that the advocate has taken the quote out of context. It is not, in fact, the opinion of the author that is being cited here that these things are problems. In other words, these were listed by the author as things that sometimes people say about this particular subject, but in fact they hold the complete opposite position, and here's a direct quote that talks about that. That's the argument. The other part, I think, is just, that's kind of irrelevant. All right? And then I thought you had really good arguments on the social networking issues and excellent data on the libraries as a way to contrast the argument to what the advocate said. I think you could do a little bit more about talking about the evidence that they used on those points in addition to presenting your evidence, but you did a nice job on all of that. All right, thank you.